Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. We're still in the mood of celebrating fathers. Yeah, we're calling it Father's Month. Let's hear from the fathers. We have an amazing father today who'll be sharing his lessons, his experiences, and we'll be able to pick one thing or two from him. So keep watching. This episode has been shot from Serene Beauty. Serene Beauty is a team of creative hair and makeup stylists ready to make your wedding day beautiful. Apart from ensuring that they enhance your beauty, they have bridal space in 5 apartments to accommodate their bridal teams so that the day is stress-free. Stay here with your bridesmaids, take pictures, have breakfast, and start the day right. You can check out their Instagram page and book your appointment today, or use the number on the screen and get ready to celebrate love just right with Serene Beauty. On the channel today, I have the amazing Collin Babirukamu. Welcome to the channel.
Thank you, Lisa.
How are you doing?
I'm glad to be here. I am well, and I thank the Lord so much for health and wellness.
Yeah.
And I am excited that you guys can celebrate fathers.
Yeah, I mean,
celebrate the men.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
But you
so
know,
I'm honored.
It's not easy to find men, to
Yeah.
come to the channel.
Is
men,
it?
Men are always hiding. They don't want to talk.
But they're making money.
Making
Yeah.
money, not open enough to share.
Yes.
So we really appreciate you.
Vulnerability is not our strongest point. But glad to be here.
Yeah,
glad
that's
to be
amazing.
here.
That's amazing. Okay,
Yeah.
so as we have this conversation on fatherhood,
Yeah.
just let the people know who you are, what
Okay.
you do, and anything you'd love them to know about you.
Wow, thanks, Lisa, and glad to be here, all the viewers. My name is Collin Babirukamu, and I'm a father, a father of 4. I think that's probably my greatest starting point.
Yeah.
I'm a husband of 1. Her name is Estella Birabwa, and I've got 4 children.
Yeah.
My eldest is now going to university.
For real?
So yes,
Wow.
so I'm about to have, I would say, 3 teenagers now, because my 3rd girl, so I've got 3 girls, so I'm a father of girls.
Wow.
And a young man who is about 6 years old. So I would say 17 going to 18, 14 going to 15, 12 going to 13.
Wow.
It's a big deal for her.
Yeah.
And then 6 going to 7, the young man. So a father of 4, but 3 girls, 1 boy. Otherwise, I'm an IT digital enthusiast, and that's how I keep the lights on. I work for the Bank of Uganda, and my role is Executive Director for IT at the Central Bank. And, but I'm also a minister of God.
Yeah.
And I've been serving at All Saints Cathedral and All Saints Chapel, Weza, where I lead within the choir, first of all, but also lead within, well, I'm a member of the choir, but then I lead the building and construction committee. So that's really who I am. I am a father, I am a husband, I am an IT guy, and I am also a minister of God. And yeah, I could talk a lot about who I am, but I'm grateful just to be. I'm generally a father who's here today, and I'm excited.
Oh, you're doing a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so before we get into it, let's break some ice.
Yeah.
What is one dad habit you've picked up that you swore you'd never do? You have those things that you say, if I become a dad, I can never.
Yeah.
What is that thing?
Now, habit. When I was growing up, I always felt very uncomfortable that people, or maybe my family members, or people compared me with my siblings. And and it's a very common thing for parents to compare you and say, but why aren't you like this guy? Why aren't you like that guy? And then it was not an easy one, because you're sandwiched by very bright people and very successful siblings. And so I almost saw that I would never be comparing my children. Guess what? I have found myself, I thought that's the quickest remedy to get the kids to style up. And so I end up comparing them and saying, but why can't you be with like her and like him? And it doesn't go very well
Yeah.
because you then take away the context of that child. You take away the particular positioning of that child because they are different. Not all of them are extroverts, not all of them are introverts, not all of them like the same things, have the same talents. So you kind of yank them out of their context and assume they should be like another.
Yeah.
So that's one thing
Yeah.
that I always hoped I would not do, but
Yeah.
I have found myself doing.
Doing it, yeah.
So
many
I have
times.
work to do. I think parenting is a work in progress.
Exactly. Every day you're trying, you're trying.
It's a work in progress.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
What gives you the biggest joy?
The biggest joy. Wow. I think, Lisa, to be honest, being a family man is a full-time job. And it's such a joy.
Yeah.
It's a joy when you come home after a long day and you have people in your family excited
Yeah.
for you to come home. Daddy has come home. And, the smiling faces. It doesn't matter how tough your meetings were. It doesn't matter how tough your day was.
Yeah.
There are people at home who are rooting for you
Yeah.
and your fans. I think what brings me the greatest joy, to be honest, my first ministry is the family.
That's amazing.
And it's easier said though than done because we end up getting busy. I am on travel, and so
Yeah.
sometimes I'm thinking, am I doing this well? My kids question my time management.
Yeah.
My wife questions my time management. For sure that for many ladies, I think quality time is extremely important, right?
Very.
So the moment I'm supposed to be there, but
you
then
miss.
I have another meeting, then
Dangerous,
it's a challenge. But what brings me joy is family.
That's
It's being a
amazing.
father.
Yeah.
It's such a privilege, being a father and being a family man.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
And you've talked about 3 girls, a boy. Like,
Yeah.
4 kids are many. Yeah?
There are many.
I have 3. I'm already confused.
Yeah.
Rain, Royal, who is it? You know.
Yeah, I get a bit of that. Yeah.
So how has been your parenting journey like, and how has it been?
Wow, parenting is amazing. I must say, I have been. I think it's first of all, it is a work in progress.
Yeah.
It's a work in progress. You are trying to, make ends meet as a father, and that's what actually defines a father. When I say I'm a father, I am not just saying I am trying to get home and be the daddy or anything, but I have to be a provider, to be a protector.
Yes.
But I also have to be a partner to their mother. So those are like 3 P's,
Yes,
right?
yeah,
I like those
yeah.
3 P things, right? So you're a provider, you're a protector, but you're also a partner. And the kids are watching. So I've always felt like it's a work in progress for me. I've done courses on parenting, by the way. A couple of friends and I have gone because we discovered we didn't seem to know as much as we thought we knew.
Yes.
But it's been such a blessing just watching the kids grow. And now, like I said, one of my eldest daughter is going to university now. And that's a milestone. When you have someone finish exams and now they're going to another level, and then the other kids are also stepping up, going to do their O levels.
Yeah.
I'm seeing that progression. But I have found parenting to be such a journey that requires a lot of partnership. And my wife has been a great partner on
Amazing.
that journey. Where I've been missing out, she's really filled the gaps. And my prayer and desire would be that, of course, everybody is parented by two.
Yeah.
Because that balance is important. I've found that I've got to be the dad, but also be the friend. But the girls need me and the boys need me. And then this time they need their mother. So it's been a real journey. But there's something that I learned about parenting, or maybe let me say fatherhood, was that it's like an analogy that I picked up many years ago. The Bible actually talks about, children being like arrows in a quiver. And they're such a blessing to anyone in their youth.
Yeah.
And I discovered that, parenting is like working that arrow with a bow, and then the children are the arrows. The children should never stay just where you are. They should never do what you have done. They should go further than you. Because you pull that with talent. So parenting requires talent, right? It requires skill.
Yeah.
It requires understanding and knowledge. And you must skillfully direct that arrow. So you must direct the children.
Yeah.
There's a lot of direction that's required. I have one child in boarding school. I've got to speak to her often. I've got to talk to her. We've got to sit with her and tell her about the vices of being a young girl and what she's facing. So you've got to face that arrow in the right direction, pull correctly with talent, and then let go.
Let it go.
When you let go, you must trust.
Let go.
You must trust, right?
Yeah.
So, and then the child must go farther than you. So my desire is that I will go further than my father did,
Yeah.
and then my children should go further than I did. And that's true legacy, that your children go further. Because they're arrows.
Yeah.
Only arrows that you shoot right into your foot stay where you are. But those that you use talent and they go farther than you are. And imagine if you have many arrows out there. So I think parenting for me has been a journey. It's been learning and lessons. I don't think I've done super well. I don't consider myself a super dad. There are things that I know I could have done better. And I'm actually still currently doing a course right now with 4 other men just on parenting and raising children.
That's amazing, because many times men don't, men are not in those things. You find it's only women, and so when you hear the men actually are now seeking that information out, I think that's the first step that men need to do. Bambi men, we encourage you, please,
No pressure.
Learn, because that's it. No one knows how to parent.
Yeah.
We just...
It's a journey. So yeah, we've got 4 men, and every Tuesday we actually meet and just talk about raising children. How to raise girls, how to raise boys, and in the teenage time, right now on a teenage topic, and it's amazing. So when you think you know, you actually don't know that much, and so it's been a good journey. But I'll tell you that it's been a great journey, especially walking this journey with my wife, but also trusting God at every level, because you discover that many things are out of your control. When that arrow is in your hand, sometimes, if you let go, for instance, you've got to trust the process and trust God.
That you put in the work, but then you trust God.
There are many things that just require prayer and grace. You can't control everything. You can't be on top of everything. You can't have an app for everything.
You can't.
So you've got to trust God.
Amazing.
So parenting is something.
It's something. Okay. So you've talked about you want to go further than your father,
yes.
for example.
I would love that. That's my desire.
That's your desire. What aspects of your parenting that you experienced from your dad, have shaped the way you parent now? Like from when you were younger, there are things that you see that you took on, or some that you said, this one I'm going to do off, how has it been?
Yeah, so I think about my dad, because I'm now thinking as a father and my father. My father was present. And may his soul rest in peace. He's not with us now. But he was a present father. And that's something I'm yet to fully emulate. Somehow, but he was a consistent man also. He was consistent, he was present. He picked me up from school almost every day. I don't pick up my kids right now. There's a van that picks up the kids. We have outsourced some of these things. But I try to make sure that I'm there on the big days, on the right days, in the beginning of the days, on the sports days, just to make sure that there's a level of presence at school, but also just make sure I can get home sometimes in time. So I try to consider myself, and I always warn my friends that I'm generally a boring man, in the sense that I don't hang out in the evenings as much. I would want to be dashing home, hit the jam and get home, because I just want to get home when I can. There are days I can't. I am a Rotarian, I have church meetings, I am speaking in some engagements. So they're competing things, but when I can, I want to get home. I want to spend time. So my dad was present. And I think presence is such an amazing thing. I think there was a speaker, I'm trying to remember the speaker, but he said that, children don't necessarily want presents, but they want presence, right? And it sounds nice, but it's actually serious. They don't want gifts, because I think we always think about the next iPhone. But these kids actually want... They want you. They want you. They want your time. They want you just to be there. And I discovered that my kids just said, Daddy, what time are you coming home? Are you coming home? After my 18-year-old daughter, 17 going to 18, she just, if it gets to 8 o'clock or 7, there's a phone call. Doesn't matter.
Where are you?
Daddy, I just wanted to say hello. And what time are you coming? And I can tell. I mean, even my wife has moments where she'll call you.
Of course.
And the wife's tactic is interesting. They tell you, but when you're coming home, please pass by the supermarket. But what she's saying is come home. She's saying, please come home now. But she's not saying, I'm missing you. But she's saying, hi, and on your way, please buy this and buy that. And I get the point that, okay, I get it. She wants me home. So the kids really want me home. But quickly back to the answer is that my dad was present. And I think that shaped the way I think about things. And another one said that it's not about the expenses, but the experiences. So children remember experiences. I can tell you, I remember particular experiences. We come from Rukunjiri. And I remember my dad driving us to Rukunjiri. And he named every town we got to as we went to
Yeah.
Rukunjiri. We had stopovers. We got to Rukunjiri, we met people. We were in, it's just his time of spending time with us was just driving us, going to places. And I remember that more than the things he bought.
Yes.
So we often, I think, get mistaken by the whole rush of trying to buy things, distract the kids with things that we buy, or overcompensate with expensive gifts.
Yeah.
But they want presents. So I think the greatest thing I learned from my dad is presence.
Yeah.
He was present. I haven't done that well, Lisa, but I can say that that's a lesson that I'm trying to emulate. I'm trying to emulate,
Okay.
yes.
You've talked about your teenage daughter calling you, Daddy, where are you?
Yes.
Wait, I hear many teenagers, they don't even want anything to do with their parents.
Really?
You get like,
Yeah.
no, they don't want. So how have you built that relationship, and how
Oh,
can,
yeah.
you know, parents, fathers
Yeah.
especially, build that relationship to make sure that we can have that conversation. I can call you when I need you, you know, because I fear teenage time.
Yeah.
I'm scared because
Yeah.
the stories out there. So
Yeah.
how are you doing it?
Whoa. Again, number one, by the grace of God, and I don't want to sound spiritual,
It's okay-
overly
it's okay
spiritual,
to be spiritual.
but I will tell you that it's really by the grace of God, Lisa, because we put time and prayer into this. We have told our kids that, first and foremost, it's about God. It starts and ends with God. Everything that we have is from God. We pray together. We've given them a chance to step up in church and given them space. So they've been following our footsteps in whatever we do. I carry this particular daughter that you're mentioning with me when I'm going to speak sometimes. When I'm going to speak to youth, I carry her sometimes along. She even goes for overnight sometimes, and she will sit, and then I'll call her, give her the microphone, ask her to speak to the people first, and that has broken her ice and the stiffness, and she wants to partner with Daddy. She watches Daddy up there, and she wants to be like Daddy. She also really emulates her mother. And her mother takes walks with her, does things with her, and her mother is a great person, by the way. So she's a great homemaker, and these kids are watching closely. So what we do is that we try to bring the kids along with us on a couple of things. But I'll tell you that you mentioned that particular girl who calls me, my daughter, Abigail. She calls because I think we've been close. We've been really, really close, as I am with all the kids. But so for her, she was the firstborn, as you can imagine. Estella, my wife, traveled to do her master's when she was really young.
Yeah.
And so I had a 6-month-old baby. And we agreed. We actually agreed to let my wife go study because I had promised her dad that I would marry her without a master's degree, but she would have a master's.
Get it.
So when the scholarship came, I said, time to go. But we had a 6-month-old baby.
Fought.
So her mother, again, rest in peace, my wife's mother offered to stay with the baby, but on weekends I would have the baby. So on weekends I'd have my 6-month-old baby. Yeah. So I spent time with this baby every Friday to Sunday for a year. I would go with milk bottles, with a bag, diapers. I'm an expert on diapers, by the way.
In the thick of things.
I'm a diaper expert. I'm a colic expert. I am a wipes expert. And so I would carry those with her. And that time was load shedding, in the mid 2000s. And so she would just sleep on my chest literally the whole night. Yeah. And I would wake up, go to church with her with that whole front loading father thing. And I was proud to do that. I'm going to church with my daughter in the carrier, and I've got a bag after church. I want to go, it was, so we've been close. Yeah. And I think I've had to do the same thing with all my other daughters. I've enjoyed partnering with my wife. Changing the diapers and walking the journey. My wife can't be there, I am there. Yeah. I drive them to the saloon. But I also have father-daughter dates. And I'm not doing too well with all the 3 yet. So I have a schedule. Yeah. In fact, the last ones are saying, Daddy, when are you doing this? Yeah. So with the first one, I took her out for a date, and we've had times where we just sit. She dresses up fully, and I dress up. Of course, their mother is behind the scenes, right? Yeah. And I just drive this daughter, and we just have our time. So I'm yet to do that now with my 14-year-old, and I have a 12-year-old. So I've got some work to do, but I've had father-son dates already. Those ones we have times where we go away.
I think easier to have father-son dates.
Yeah. Those are much easier. We go out, we play video games, we do all sorts of things. It's a little easier, but with a girl, you've got to be very intentional. She doesn't want to play games. She wants to talk. She wants to connect. She wants to hear your voice. She wants to hear your affirmation. So I'm doing my best,
Yeah.
but I can tell you I have a long way to go. I have a bit of work to do, a lot of learning to do, but I've done my best. Try to make that father-daughter connection,
The intentionality.
and tell them that they can talk to me whenever they have anything. Even crushes, I've told them you can talk to me. Of course, they can talk to their mother. She's opened up that channel, but I also ask them, you can talk to me, and we have walks together, and in those physical walks, actually, they enjoy to talk about. I poke them with open questions that pick up things. Even my 12-year-old, I'm saying, you're 12, you're in boarding school, I know what comes with that.
Yeah.
Tell me what's going on. And she'll be open. You'll be amazed what's happening to 12-year, 13-year-olds
Yeah, these days.
in boarding school. And they have feelings. I mean, I had feelings by 12,
yeah,
13. Adolescence is when they're picking up. So why not my daughter?
Yeah, that's good. And it reminds me of my husband, Steve, when you talked about the dates. He'll find it easier, of course, to go with King and ride bicycles, and they do all stunts.
Yeah.
They know I wouldn't accept such stunts. So just send me videos.
It's boy time.
Yes. It's really too late, you know?
Yeah.
And then when it comes to the girls, you see that, he's struggling because it's easier to relate, because you know what men need.
Yeah.
And then now with a girl, you're getting out of yourself and wanting to, I can see the struggle with the men, you know?
So it's you have to be intentional.
Yeah.
For the father-daughter you've got to be prepared. You've got to have thought about your questions. It can flow, but you really need the right questions to get the answers and for them to trust you. So it's a process.
That's amazing. So as the Babirukamus, in your home, what values, especially as a leader, are you ensuring that you instill in the children?
Yeah. Well, so they're I like calling them the 5 Fs, right? And I hope I can bless them. Yeah, I love them because they're memorable. So a group of friends, we are like 5 families, and we do life together.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest F at the top is faith.
Yeah.
So faith is a principle of told our children that we go by faith. Faith is what drives us. It's about God. It's Him who's brought us here. I don't pride myself in working in this place or working that place or getting promoted here. I tell them this is the grace of God. So they need to understand that this is how we do it at home. This is our culture. This is what we do. It's faith. It's God first.
Yeah.
And we fall short many times, but we've told them faith is number one. The other value, of course, is family. That's the second F, right? There's family, right? So there's faith, there's family. And we say family is extremely important. We have a code, and I tell them your siblings first. I tell the girls, these are your closest people in the world right now. So look after each other. Girl, if you girls are together, you'll be amazing. Don't forget your kid brother. Make sure you look out for him. I'm telling them that family is important first, and kids need to grow up knowing that family is key. So faith first, and then family. And then just having that family union, they want to inquest and know who is their father, who is their grandfather, who are their aunties. So we take them to family gatherings to introduce them to their relatives, to understand the importance of family. And I know about 8 generations of my lineage.
Really?
I can name my ancestors up to 8 generations.
Oh, wow.
And so I try to teach my kids that you've got to know where you come from. So family is important. The third F, very, very quickly, is basically finances, okay? So we teach our kids finances are extremely important. So my kids play Monopoly. They love Monopoly. It's the simplest way to introduce your kids to money. So kids must respect money. I tell my son who's 6-year-old, you must respect money. I don't like him wringing money, throwing it around. I say respect that money. It's hard earned. And then there are days I leave travel, and I ask him and tell him, you're the man in the house right now. This is a bit of pressure for a 6-year-old. But I leave him with 5K. And I tell him, you've got 5K right now. I'm going away, but make sure the lights are on. Make sure the TV, the TV is working. Make sure that there's water running in the house. Make sure that everything is running. So I introduce him to the whole house and tell everybody I'm announcing that this guy is the man. And I can see the grin on his face.
Like,
of,
please,
I'm
don't
the guy.
play with me.
So he gets the 5K, puts in his pocket, and he's like, guys, I'm handling.
Yeah.
And of course, when I come back, it's a different story. He says, Dad, man, this guy just wanted to take the money. But at least he understands the value of responsibility of money. So we do things like Monopoly. We talk about money. We talk about how to spend. We go to shopping places, and you give them particularly their amount of money
Yeah.
and say, go. If you spend it, if you finish it,
That's it.
So budgeting and planning is extremely important.
Wow.
So I think finances is extremely important. The other area, of course, is fun. All right, that's the fourth F. We really have fun. I have as much fun as you, Lisa, because I've been watching you. You seem to have more fun than.
You know,
I'm always thinking I need to style up.
You know, it's also a value for us. Fun.
Yeah.
It's
Is
also
it?
It is. We have to have fun.
You really have fun. You really have fun, and
Yeah.
we tell our kids to have fun.
Yeah.
Don't be too serious. You've made the finances. You've made the money. You've kept the faith.
Enjoy.
You're with family.
Yeah.
Have fun. Have fun. And so our kids understand that there's time for fun. There's time to have a good time. And dad has a budget for fun.
Yeah.
And so we make it a point to make those fun experiences because they remember them more than the
anything.
gifts
Yes,
that we give. The last F is fitness.
Oh.
Okay? So our kids know. My 18-year-old daughter now, 17 going to 18, is now on it because her mother is very disciplined. I am like semi-disciplined.
Like working out and stuff.
She is extremely disciplined. So, we're talking every other day, she will make 15,000 steps on a daily basis. Or something. I know. And then I'll come back with my humble 10,000 steps or something. But my daughter will, but we're telling them, you've got to get used to exercising and fitness. So I sort of wanted to run that. It's easier to remember the 5 Fs, but fitness is key. And we began this exactly, I think, during COVID.
Yeah.
Everyone began walking, right? But we took it from there and we maintained that. So we walk a lot. She gyms. I try to gym as much. Some evenings don't work.
Yeah.
By the time you get home after a long traffic jam or something, you just give it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I would say that those are the things that we go with. But number one was faith.
Faith,
And I've always said, you've got to remember that that's a value. That's something that we hold strong in our home. Yeah.
That's amazing. You guys are giving us a run for our money.
It sounds academic, but it's doable.
No, it is.
It is, yeah.
It is. All those things.
Yeah.
If you don't focus on them, then some parts.
There's an imbalance,
right?
right?
There's an imbalance.
Yeah.
Finances are important, and I know you also minister the couples getting married. You teach them about finances in marriage, and it's really amazing.
Yeah.
I keep telling people those things are really important.
Yeah.
So, when you talk about, you have, of course, the 4 girls. I mean, 3 girls, the boy. Do you see an actual difference? How do you parent them differently?
Yeah.
You're learning about raising boys.
Yes.
Also raising girls. Can you tell us about some of those differences? Because sometimes we parent wholesale.
Yeah.
Everybody.
One size fits all.
Everyone. But then there are differences.
They're very
so
different.
How do you
They're
raise those
really,
girls, and then how do
really
you-
different.
Yeah.
Yes, they're different. I mean, all these kids need attention, but I think in different ways. And I can tell when I get home, the way the girls hug me is different. So my 3 daughters, each of them will come one by one and hold me, and they stay there for a while. And I'm,
What's up?
as a Chigaman, you're like, okay, that's okay, but you've got to learn. She just holds you.
Yeah.
What they want is affection. They want to tap on their father. They want to, I feel they believe and they pick their identity from their fathers. It's actually biblical, that they actually pick their identity from their fathers. What your father says to a daughter forms them. And girls are looking for that father figure because you're their first boyfriend.
Yes.
You're the first validation. So I'm sensitive about that, and I'm trying to raise my daughters openly about it. When she comes out of a salon, I must remember she's out of a salon, and that hair is different.
She'll feel nice.
I've got to make the comment, all right? I've got to pay for the salon. I've got to
Yeah.
drive her and wait in the parking lot sometimes. And then she feels like, that's my dad.
Yeah.
My daughter is going for a prom. And
Is she going in a chopper?
no, no, not. And
Yeah.
and it's okay. I mean, initially I was thinking, prom, what happens in the prom? But it's a good school. It's well guided. I've had my eyes on what happens.
Yeah.
And I've got to drive her.
Yes.
I'm looking forward to driving her to the prom. She's going to dress up. She's going to be all set. And she's told me, Dad, I want you to drive me there. Get me to the front. As I come out, I want to open the door.
Hi.
Okay, this is annually. Don't
Wow.
don't assume that I do this often. So I'm looking forward to opening the door for her, and then she comes out in her dress. Her mother is working it out, and so girls are looking for affirmation. They're looking for identity through their fathers, and I'm trying to kind of keep my focus on that. So I can feel it from their hugs. They just stay there longer. there is something that they want to tap, but you can't exactly understand. So I have to learn to just stand still, relax. And the boy, on the other hand, is this physical guy. He's running around. Yeah. So he's looking for this man thing. He's reminding me about my muscles. He's touching my muscles and saying, Daddy, when will I have muscles like yours? Yeah. I want to have muscles like yours. I like your car. You can see that his things are different. He's into cars. Yeah. He's into bicycles. He's into soccer. Although I struggle with soccer, I don't even know what happens in soccer, to be honest. I'm one of those boring men. You're rare. Yeah. I used to support Chelsea when Drogba was playing. That's like a couple of years ago. And Mourinho, when we began losing, I bailed out. You're like, this is so I am not the most exciting man in the evenings. Yeah. But yeah, so you can see that the guy is looking for a father figure that he can emulate, that he can, when I grow up, I want to be like you. Yeah. So I can see that being an example to him and parenting him that way, with the understanding that he's watching me, is important. I can tell that he's watching me closely. I can tell that he's looking for my validation. Yeah. When he's playing with his friends on a soccer pitch, he keeps looking up. Yeah, you get that. When he looks up, I tell him, go. Then I see him put some energy, and I can tell that he wants validation. Yeah. He wants my presence. He wants me to drop him and pick him up and just have some boy time. So raising him is not the whole mushy, touchy thing. Like the girls I can tell want the physical touch, they want quality time. He's one of those guys who comes and just hugs and goes away. Yeah, quickly. Sometimes I'm like, come back, and where are you? I'm like, hold a little more, because I'm used to the girls, all right? And I can tell that for him, he's like in a hurry. I've got to go back, but Dad, good to see you. So you realize that there are different ways. So the boy wants a dad example. Yeah. That the boy wants a person he can emulate and grow up to be like. So he's watching. So it's a very tough duty being a daddy. While the girl is looking for that source of protection, that validator, that emotional support. And so you've got to. But not forgetting, lastly, is that the boy, I'm trying to raise him in such a way that he's also vulnerable. Because I think sometimes we can raise the boys too tough. Too much. Yeah, you are tough. You are, be a man. No, I think, I hear the whole don't cry thing. And even at my age, men cry. Yeah. We have moments of grief, we have moments of difficulty, moments where we're heartbroken. You wives also break our hearts sometimes. You know, we also need time, and we don't get in, okay, not the crying level. But I get you. But so I'm raising him to be vulnerable. So, and remember I said the 3 Ps. I was saying that a man should be a provider, he should be a protector, but also a partner. That's a father, right? That partner bit, we need to raise our boys with the knowledge that one day they'll be partners. So I think we're dealing with the girls, we're raising them. You hear the Baganda mothers say, will you be like that in your house? Will you do that in your house? They are raising homemakers. Yes. But the boy is out there, he's all over the place, he's doing his thing. But can you raise him to be a partner? And I'm telling him how to be sensitive to girls. He got a report that was saying that, he wasn't very sensitive to the girls in his class. I'm reporting him on one day he might see this. But I had to sat him down and said, you have to respect the girls. It's the first thing you've got to do. You've got to be a gentleman. Yeah. So he came back to me and told me, Dad, I'm a gentleman. I'm very kind to, he named the people that he's very kind to. And said, I'm now nice to them. I said, you've got to be nice to them. I tell him to be nice to his sisters, because that's how he starts. You've got to train them really, really early, to be tender, to be caring, to pull that chair once in a while. Sometimes we forget to pull the chair, but so yes, I think there are two quite different ways. Yeah. They all need love, they all need time, but the way you express it and the direction you take it, I think is different. For a girl, the emotional side. For the boy is the whole masculine growth element. Yeah. He's looking up to you, and you better be an example. You better be, and I really love that, honestly, the fact that you're reading books on that and understanding the different seasons and taking time to learn. It's really, really the thing that sets people apart. In our parenting group, we also have different parenting groups where we say when the kids grow up and they bring someone, we'll be like, did your parents do raising godly children? Because we want to make sure that we have the same kind of DNA. But that's really amazing. So you're checking on sleepovers. You're making sure that the ethos in that home
is the same.
is the same, right?
get me?
Because one night can flip a child and you have to undo.
That's it.
But I hear you.
Yeah. So when you talk about, the girls, your lovely daughters, we are in this era where girls need to be protected in a way, boundaries. How are you teaching boundaries, safety, sex, it's the time.
Yeah.
It's scary. Like, how do you do it?
But how old is your first?
Only 7.
7. Oh, okay.
I'm still.
You're okay. You're okay. That's my last born right now.
The other day he told me something.
Yeah.
The girlfriend was like, "Hey, what's going on?" Oh my God. Yeah, but.
No, but 7, you're getting there. I mean, I have a teenager who's becoming an adult. She's gonna be voting next year.
Yeah.
She will be. She's turning 18.
She's almost kuchalari. I kuchala at 22.
Ooh, that was. Hey, Steve. Okay, 22. I will have to have a chat with him. How did that man? Okay, you become pretty, which is a great thing. Yeah. Even for biology, anatomy, it's good to start early. And you've got energy to run with the kids. My youngest son now is 6 going to 7.
Yeah.
And I
am
47.
Hey.
It's not the same anymore.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's not.
15 years ago, 18 years ago, when I was 30, I was playing with my kids. I was running around.
Yeah.
Right now, he calls me, gives me an offer for soccer. I play soccer at 7. I play soccer for 20 minutes, and I tell my son, there's something I've got to do, but I'm panting. So when you get, it would be nice to parent early. It'd be nice to parent early.
Yeah.
So I must say that boundaries, wow. You've got to keep talking.
Yeah.
You've got to really create an atmosphere that allows your children to express themselves. My wife is great at that, I'll tell you. And that's the beauty of parenting. When you have gaps, she fills the gaps. When she has gaps, you fill the gaps. And it's not always the case. Sometimes there's only one parent. So it's a blessing that there are two. And so we have, every week, we have a time to pray with the kids. People call it a family altar, family fellowship. But in that altar, it's a conversation. And my son, my 7-year-old leads, he likes to lead. He takes charge of testimony time. And testimony time is simply, how are you doing? Yeah. And we bring everybody in the house. I'm talking about all the workers. Yes, come. That's amazing. It's not just the kids and us, but all the workers, because they're family. Yeah. We've had workers for 17 years. Wow. We've had Aisha, a wonderful lady, who's been with us since the first child. Child is now going to university. Wow. She's still there.
That's family.
And that's family, right? That's a mother, second mother. Yeah. And then we've got Herbert, a great guy also, who's been with us for 14 years. He drives. He does everything. He's now finished his diploma. That's Estella, not me. I must say, that's her department. She is super. I don't know how she does it, but they are a team, and they've been a team for long. But we bring everybody together in this weekly fellowship and devotion. And my son is 7 years old, but he loves to lead the first part. And all we're asking is, how are you doing? It's an open question, and everybody just shares. Then he likes to ask again, what are your highs and lows? It's a quick, easy way to say, what's made you happy? What's made you sad? And everybody has a chance to mention their highs, and the lows will become prayer requests. So we talk about the laws, but the point is that we create an atmosphere where people can talk, where our kids can talk. And so on a weekly basis, we kind of know what you're going through. We follow up and say, but last week you're going through this. You had exams. What's happening? Then when it gets a bit more intimate, we do this on walks. When we're walking, we can walk with one child, one daughter, for instance. When we walk with her, we ask her to just tell us, how are you doing? And then we create an atmosphere that allows them to open up about their lives. We first of all open up about our lives. We must be vulnerable with them. I have learned that I should be clear that I'm not the perfect dad. I didn't have triple A's. Although I want my kids to have triple A. I didn't have excellent results all the time. But I'm telling them that while I wasn't the best, this is what I want for you, but tell me about your life. I had crushes when I was a young man. My wife had crushes when she was a young girl. Tell us about your life. So when we create that atmosphere, the kids actually want to talk. And I've realized that they want to come back and talk. Of course, some more than others, depending on their temperament. Some are extroverted, and it's just easy. Dad, come on, I've got to tell you. There's this boy, and sometimes I'm like, I'm sitting up, and I'm thinking, now, which boy is that? And which family? And what did he say? I'm being protective, but yet I want to be able to listen.
Yes.
So I'm being careful not to overly be controlling.
Mm.
But so sometimes I have to keep a straight face, but I'm often thinking, now which boy is this? But she'll open up, she'll talk about her situation. And often it's just a teenage moment that's going on. But creating that atmosphere, I think, has allowed us to talk about boundaries, has allowed us to talk about do's and don'ts, allowed us to talk about the mistakes that we made, maybe. Focus on the most important things. You're now going to university, maybe focus, you know. You have exams. Do you really need a distraction right now? Reminding them of the most important things. So we have some candid discussions. The toughest is when you're talking to your 12-year-old who's just moving into 13. There's puberty coming up. And I've got to be in that sitting with my wife, as she's a doctor.
Yeah.
She's got to talk about the body.
And
talk about, you're like, yeah, she's going to answer the questions. And then you're talking about, you know, the girl's season and the periods and what's going to happen, and that's going to affect this and that. But then she knows that she can talk to dad and talk to mom. So I think us being vulnerable with our children, creating the time to walk with them to our room sometimes, and we just talk a bit deeply. They have sleepovers, not elsewhere, but in our room. So we create sleepovers in our room and just lay the mattresses down.
So interesting.
And it's cheaper than a hotel. And you can't believe it. They love it.
Happy.
They love it. They want to watch a movie. We're there with them. I often sleep along the way. But they're enjoying their something Disney. But you're spending time, talking to them. I think creating the atmosphere and them knowing that you can pray about them and follow up. You must be intentional to come back a week later and start from that conversation. Because most dads are, I think we're distracted. We're busy making money. So for you to come back and remember the boy's name and say, tell me a little bit about how you're doing with, that's quite, you must be intentional. I think at our age, you must begin writing these things down in your phone so that you come back and review before you meet her. But yes, I think creating atmosphere has really been helpful. I don't feel that we are perfect, honestly. I don't want to make an impression to the viewers that we are perfect, perfect parents or perfect couple, no. But we found that, you know, slowly we create the atmosphere to talk. And we have, you sense that there's some kids who are a little more withdrawn. You need to do more to get stuff out of them. Their temperament, they're different. So you've got to know your kid individually and deal with that.
I really love that because, you know, in those days, your parents wouldn't tell you the mistakes they made, how
they were the best, right?
They must remain. And I found like, you know, even when I tell my kids, even me, when I was young, my brother, I did this, and then they're like, what? They are so, you know, and they become open because now they feel like you're a normal person because otherwise they'll always look at you in that light. And then, the relationship won't come as
Exactly.
And when you talk about, you know, raising them, I know there's a big role fathers play when it comes to discipline. But in some families, the woman has taken over all the discipline and the father maybe is not around or things like that. You know, what's the role of fathers in discipline? Because you see in Proverbs, fathers,
fathers,
do not provoke them. Fathers,
don't exacerbate them.
Exactly. You know, so what's been your experience with discipline?
Discipline. Wow, it's been a real partnership, this one, with my wife. She is a better disciplinarian than I am. I have found that I've been a bit of a softie. I have let a couple of things pass. And you know, wives get skilled in passing it back to the father. So this is one area I have struggled, I'll tell you. I haven't done very well. I need to keep learning. I've always been soft. I always believed in let the child be, it's going to be okay, but there's a time to be tough. And there are times where in their early years, I mean, teenagers, we don't cane, right? We don't literally punish. But for the younger ones, sometimes they get down. How old are you? You know? And I could tell my wife sometimes, would be like, so I'm in their presence, she has done something wrong, or child has done something wrong, and then the mother says, your father is going to punish you. In fact, so you're on the spot, you've got to do it. So I think my role has been a lot of the counseling, of course. Talk about the need, of course, for discipline. Doing the more of the talking. I've been struggling with the physical action, but I've had to learn to do it. I've had to learn to discipline children also by other methods. It's not just penalty and chiboko, but also withdrawing incentives from them. I mean, screen time. And screen time is reduced they pay attention. When a device, because we don't have devices through the week, but you can have a tab on a week or something. Even watching TV will be in the weekend. If we just say no TV on a Saturday, you can't believe it. That's quite
It's a big
disincentive or a
punishment.
punishment.
Yeah.
So there are ways we've found you won't be busy. We've left a child home before. We're going to a party, we're going somewhere and say, you, for the work you've done this week, you're staying. And it's rough. I'm driving.
But
I'm
you're-
thinking, ugh. But we actually
have
drive
to
and
do
leave her
it.
home.
Yeah.
She must learn the lesson. She must learn that you cannot keep doing what you're doing if you're not listening, or you've embarrassed us, or you are, So we've had some tough times. So my role has been obviously as a father in the home is to make sure that I clarify the ethos of the home
Yes.
and the do's and don'ts of our home, but also get into action sometimes. One of the things that we've agreed with my wife and I is not to be physical with our palms and hands, okay?
Yeah.
Because it's easy to get violent
Yeah.
rather than
Removing.
getting discipline
Yeah.
from a child. You actually can become violent.
Yeah.
So we've agreed never ever to use our hands, bare hands. Because I've seen that happen. If it goes crazy, you've seen it in the movies or
Can
a
become a
Nigerian
waterfall.
movie.
Twa, 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 twa.
A mother goes for a child or a slap or drugs them.
Yeah.
We're saying it has to be done in such a manner that they understand the lesson.
The intention is to discipline,
Discipline.
not to put your anger.
Not the anger. Sometimes you even bring your anger from work.
Yeah.
You bring your stress from a deal that didn't go well. You bring your stress from a bad business, and you bring it home.
Yeah.
So the kids take your anger, take your violence, and take the brunt of your day's feeling. So you have to be careful not to even punish them at that moment.
Yeah.
Let it simmer in and understand. I can punish you tomorrow, but I won't forget.
Yeah.
I'll say, do you remember what happened yesterday? What was the issue? 1, 2, 3. You know the repercussion for that? Yes, Daddy. Can you, what's the instrument? They know.
They know.
Get down. And some of them knew their age. Their age was a factor of the chiboko, and so they knew.
7.
So you want to make sure you never use your bare hands.
Yeah.
And I learned that from a lady in one of the schools where my kids were. And I thought that was something powerful. I should never ever use my bare hands. Because those hands are the same hands that are supposed to love. They're supposed to caress.
Yes.
But imagine if you raise your hands and a child just is traumatized by the
There's
hand.
fear.
Because they know that
Anytime.
hand was the last hand that
That gave them-
got them bruised and a red eye. So how can the same hand come and love, touch,
Yeah.
and caress? So, I guess you're always learning these things.
Yeah.
So that's sort of my 2 cents on it. But I've got to be the father, I've got to be the guide.
From everything you've said, teamwork. I'm looking at teamwork. You're doing it with Estella,
Yes,
and
yes.
it makes it even easier. And they say the best gift you can give your children is a great relationship with your mom.
It's a powerful gift, yes.
Yeah.
They're watching, huh?
They're watching.
A lot. They're
how,
watching.
How are you ensuring they're seeing some nice
Ooh.
things going on?
Wow. So it's almost like you as a father, you are running 2 roles. Like I said, it's the 3 P's, right?
Yeah.
You're a protector, you're a provider, you're the source, right? Actually, the word father is Abba.
Yeah.
Abba in Hebrew or Aramaic, and it means the source, but not just the source, but the sustainer.
Yes.
So any father who goes planting seeds all over the place better be willing to sustain those children. Don't go planting if you can't sustain. Because we are fathers. Fathers give.
Yes.
For God so loved the world that he gave. He loves and he gives.
Yes.
So that's a father's duty and our responsibility. So even for the children, they must see that I am giving to their mother. If I love her, I must give. You can't say you love and don't give. I think those two don't work together. You can't say, I really, really love your mother. And they don't see
Any.
And the other thing is that they must intentionally see that happening.
Yeah.
They must see value being added. I keep saying that, my family, oftentimes they tease me and say, we're glad you met Estella because, I met her, of course, and I was skinny, I was pale, my face was going berserk.
You are struggling.
Yeah. So, this is a work in progress, and she's been curating, right? That's one of those words people use now. You're curating.
Curate a gift.
You're curating. So she's been curating, and I must be seen to curate my wife, to be looking after her.
Yeah.
When she goes to a function and she comes dressed in this elegant dress,
Beautiful.
that's me.
That's you.
Yeah, I paid for that dress.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm the provider. I'm the source, right? When that hair looks smashing and people are making comments, that's me.
Tap on the back.
And the thing about being a father, many times you won't get any compliments.
Yeah.
But for you as a father, you don't have to go around reminding people that you're the father of this home, you're the provider. That's your responsibility, to take care of their mother, to take care of them. If I brought you into this world, I must look after you. I am Abba, all right? I am provider, I am sustainer, I am the source. Just like my father is my source. So the kids must see me adding value to their mother. And their mother looks good. Yeah. So I'm trying.
Well done.
I'm trying. I'm trying. And I like to just check and see that she's, the kids actually know that. And I've been doing badly. Remember one time, I think, when we had a session at our home and you came over, we talked about dating. And I'm not doing too well. I must confess on the channel that I'm not doing too well. So there are things I need to up on that direction.
It's a reminder.
But the kids will always say, Daddy, is this the Friday when you're supposed to take her? Because they knew in fact, I had a little reminder to say date night.
Yeah.
And then my kids say, Daddy, remember the alarm, date night, this is the time. So the kids actually love to see me taking her out. I haven't done well in that direction, but I can still, it's not too late, right?
No, it's never too late.
It's not too late.
This week, it's also still...
Yeah. I think this week is still possible, right? But them watching and seeing me do it, I think is extremely important. Them seeing me add value on their mother looking better and looking happy and looking healthy, looking provided for, I think. And they know that I will provide, I will bring gifts. And then they say, okay, I think they're watching. And so sometimes the girls have told me, Daddy, I hope to get a husband.
I was about to say.
Like you.
Yes.
And I'm like, girl, in my head I'm thinking, you should know that I have lots of weaknesses. You should know that I am not the perfect guy. You should know that I have not been, at my best all the time. But what they see, they want to see in their future husbands. And I'm honored by that. And so may God help me.
Please,
to be a great example and to keep going and do better, polish up the areas, do those date nights. And so I have work to do.
Yeah, that's amazing because the girls are watching. I think they will have standards.
Yes, there'll be pressure.
It's a good thing to have standards.
But I hope you guys don't put the standards too high.
No,
also.
they will just be there. Sometimes There's actually not having any standards. You've not seen anything, so you go with everything.
Yeah, but at least have something. Yeah, I think that's a good point. That's a good way to look at it. So I try. I try to show my kids that their mother is extremely important. And if we have disagreements, they shouldn't be right in front of them. They should be away. Because you will have disagreements, right? I'm making 20 years of marriage this year. 20 years, 2 decades.
Amazing,
It's by the grace of God again. I have to put that caveat because I think getting married and staying married for even 4 years is a grace, right? It's no easy job. So 20 years is, but again, a lot to learn.
Amazing. When I hear love and I'm just like, wow, amazing. I love it. Okay. So there may be fathers out there wondering or wanting to hear your advice to them. Some things they should not forget when it comes to this role that no one prepares us for, but we are just here and making sure that there's a legacy that is left. But it's not just like fathered children, but you left some sort of impact. And what would you tell them?
I think I would speak to the fathers on the channel and say that even just the title or the word father is such an honor. It's an honor for you to be called daddy or to be called father, to be called Abba, because that actually is like the most common reference to God. You could call God Jehovah, you could call him Almighty, you could call him King of Kings, but he's called Father in almost every book. So Father is God's title, and he's now bestowed that on us. And why? Because he's put seed in us that we must give. You can't be a father if you're not giving. Something must come out of you. Something must flow out of you. So I think my thought to the fathers is that we must embrace this responsibility. It's a responsibility. It's not a name or a title, but it's a responsibility. And I'm also learning. So as I speak to the fathers, I'm sort of speaking to myself. Fathering is understanding that you're not just the head of the house. Because I think sometimes we get caught up by the biblical reference that we're the head of the wife, just like Christ is the head of the church. So we kind of get engrossed in being the head. But actually, the Bible speaks about men. Only Adam was from the soil. Only Adam. Eve didn't come out of the soil. People forget that they think that she also came out of the soil. Only Adam came from the soil. Eve came from the man.
Yes.
So Adam coming out of the soil represents that he's actually a foundation. So fathers are foundations, and they carry the weight of the family. The women are like walls. They're beautiful. They're walls and roof, the aesthetics of it. But the true crux of it is the foundation. So men, we're actually not just, you can't say, I am the head, I'm on top. You're actually beneath. It's a principle that I learned some time back.
Yes,
You're the one, the foundation. You're the foundation that's on the ground that holds the family. That's why there are things you do as a father that don't have to be celebrated. You're paying fees. You're looking after the house. Lights are on. You're supposed to do that. It's your responsibility. So if you're the source, you must sustain. So you must work hard. In the Garden of Eden, I'm just going back to that because it's sort of important as a father to know that. And as a father, you're the foundation, right? Only the foundation is in the soil. You come out of the soil. Foundations are in the soil, and they hold the house. So the house or the family is held by the foundation. The father, Abba, you provide, you protect, you sustain. And that's something we fathers must remember. So we're not just above and say we are above and you're beneath. Behind every man is a woman. No, we're actually beneath. And it's not degrading. We are the ones holding it. When a structure falls, it's never the walls. It's the foundation often. When KCCA is saying this structure is dead, it's never about the roof often. It's often the foundation. So if the foundation is weak, the father is weak, then even the walls begin to wobble. The wife, the children that are doing the covering. So we are beneath. Not in a bad way. We are the foundation. We don't have to announce everything we do. We just do it. It's your responsibility. And so I kind of want to speak to the fathers. And it's something I'll speak to myself any day, that we need to learn, that we are God's primary. We were created first. Do you believe that actually Eve didn't get any instructions from the Garden of Eden? It was actually Adam. Adam was supposed to go and have dominion. You're supposed to multiply. So fathers are meant to multiply. They're supposed to work. If you're at home and the wife is working, the mother is the one doing the hard work, something needs to
move a bit.
Turn around. We were created for work. Let me put that, we were created as providers. So it's important that husbands put in the time, no pressure, but we must provide. If you bring forth seed, you must sustain it. And it means you must nurture, you must protect it, so you must provide. In fact, this is another one I keep thinking about without digressing, is that even wives are looking for fathers. I keep thinking that a wife, you may think that a wife is, but our wife is looking for a father in us.
Many days.
Why wives can, I'm okay with my wife calling me daddy. It's actually romantic, right? Daddy, right? It's a romantic thing, because I know she calls me that often when the kids are there, because it's a quick reference, but I suspect that it's natural for her. Women are actually looking for wives, because a man shall leave his father and mother, Genesis 2:18, right? But they shall be joined with their wife. The Bible doesn't say that wives or a woman will leave her father. It's the man who leaves. Guess what? The woman never leaves the father. They just find another father and get joined. They never. Now, I know it may sound funny when you think I'm your dad, but that's why we call our babes, our wives, baby. So you're baby and you call me daddy, right? So my wife calls me daddy. It's a natural thing. I believe that women are also looking for protection. Wives are looking for tender care. Wives are looking for you to look out for them, to protect them, to provide them, to be the partner. So the definition of father goes actually beyond the child. You're the foundation, but you're also a great partner to your wife. In fact, I would dare say that many times, if you ask women if they really, really want to be out hustling and working, I don't think many women by default would want to work. They'd want to be home because they've been created in many ways for reproduction, for nurturing. You're a man, but woman is a man with a womb. You're a woman, all right? Female is a male with a fetus, right? She is female. She's been designed to actually hold your seed and bring forth. So a father, you're bringing seed. You know, you're the seed guy, right? That's why we have to be careful where our seed goes. And that's a big reminder to fathers. I'm still speaking to fathers. We've got to be careful where we place our seed. because our seed speaks to generations. Our seed speaks to, it contains genes of ancestors. So when you go spreading your seed everywhere, you are actually, it's not private anymore. You are placing your seed out there, your ancestors out there. And so I just want to say this, maybe in closing, that fathers, it is the responsibility. And it's a journey of learning. I'm still learning. I think I am in P1 of fathering.
Yeah.
But I want to say that we have a responsibility, and God is a great example of a father. His greatest name is Father. He's Abba Father. And he wants us to be the same, to provide, to sustain, to be the source.
Yeah.
So you've got to be a source if you're going to be a father. If you're not a source, check that. We've got to check that again and rethink. We've got to rethink whether are we providing. So it's natural that women haven't been designed for the work and the hard work. Nowadays they have to work.
Yeah.
They've got to be out hustling.
Yeah.
But that's not their real true design. In the Garden of Eden, we were created and given power for dominion and multiplication. All right? But let's be careful that that is understood, that the wives are here to help us.
Yes.
All right? Women don't like that story too much. They don't like the helper discussion often, but women are here to help. But we've got to be out there, dominion, creating wealth, and bringing forth. So I just want to encourage the fathers that it's never too late.
Yeah.
It's never too late to even study about fatherhood.
Yeah.
I'm still studying.
Yeah.
Take time to understand. And just like the arrow analogy, remember that it takes talent to be a father. Because you're going to send an arrow out as your child.
Yeah.
But it requires talent as you pull
that thing.
archery is a whole discipline, right?
Yeah.
The way you send it up in the air is a projectile. The way you point it down, if you do it wrongly, it's just going to stick down here.
Yeah.
But children, and a true legacy, just to pick on what you said finally, a true legacy is your children doing better than you did in every facet. Spiritually, they should do greater. My father, my grandfather sold his only cow, my grandfather, to start the foundation of my village church in Rukunjiri, the only cow.
Wow.
But Chiga don't have cows, right? He sold his only cow. My father continued with the building. I have come, my family and I, by the grace of God, have continued to do the building. We've built a health center, we've done a couple of things at that church. We are doing more than my father. My father did more than my grandfather. I've been the chairman of All Saints Cathedral building construction. I've been the chairman of Lueza by God's grace. I found myself in building. My grandfather laid the seed. I should do greater than my grandfather. I should do greater than my father. I'm praying that my son, my daughters do greater. The arrow must go further, basically. So my prayer is that encourage your children, nurture them, give them an atmosphere to do greater than you have done.
Guys,
Yeah.
as in, I don't know what to say. Everything has been said. I'm
Amen.
so grateful
Thank
that
you.
you came. I am learning a lot. I'm going to make sure my husband also watches the video. There are some videos I tell him, babe, this one, do not miss.
But tell him that this guy on the channel is a work in progress.
Yeah, of course.
Is a work in progress, right?
Iron sharpens iron.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
it.
you.
Everyone
Yeah.
is learning, and you pour and you learn and you implement.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of having community.
Yeah.
So that everything you've learned, you don't keep to yourself.
Yeah.
You pour into others. That's how we grow, guys.
Yeah.
Okay, so Collin, you're an IT expert. You're doing all these amazing things, IT. We know the digital age is here and it's not going nowhere.
No.
How does that influence our parenting? Is
Yeah.
it making things worse for us? And how do we maneuver it?
That's interesting. So I'm a digital enthusiast. That's what I do every day. That's what I do for the government. I advocate for many things in the digital space, and I can tell you that digital has great advantages. The digital space has great advantages. We should never discount where things are going. Artificial intelligence now and where it's going. You can even learn parenting from a chatbot or something, but whether you will implement those is another story. I think it's great. It's a great addition to our lives, and you can't fight technology. You can only embrace it, but be careful how you use it. And I think it's the usage, ethical usage of technology now that we must understand. Technology is with us, and it can only get developed more and more. And the AI now is developing faster than traditional technology was doing before. The things that happen in AI in 6 months would take maybe 12 years for our old traditional IT things to develop. AI just develops. I can't keep up with AI. We have no AI experts per se, because when you think you know, you don't know it.
Don't know.
So first and foremost, technology is great. It's good. It's advancing. You can't fight it. But you've got to have the right ethical usage. of technology. And I think that's where now parenting we've got to learn. First of all, my children, although I'm an IT guy, I'm careful. I am saying number one, phones only at 16 onwards. Some parents do it earlier, others do it later. Our home, 16 years old. And the girls know it. My boy is much younger, but the girls know, and they're always waiting. They're like, 16, 1 month to 16. And I can tell you, she won't have a phone even at 15.8. She has to be 16. It's just a rule. At 16, you will get a phone. Even that phone will require ethical usage. But at 16, you know that you're already at the grace of God, right? But we've also said, if you have a device, you know, we don't use devices at home. At least the kids don't use their tablets in the week because there's homework and stuff. In the holiday, there's a bit of leeway. So we really manage screen time. You've got to really control screen time. And we're not experts there, but we've tried. We're also saying don't use tablets and phones in bedrooms. Okay? So come to the family room, come to the open space, come to the sitting room.
Everyone can see.
Be there, do your thing. Because when you're in the quiet of your loneliness and alone, there are many things that come. Because the content is just something else. And one of the things that I talk about, especially, we don't have the time for that now, is that these apps have been designed with something called algorithmic feeds. Those feeds are designed to hook you. They're using artificial intelligence. Their idea is to see what do you like. And when you like something, they will send more things similar to you. So it goes and looks at all the content in Instagram and brings you closer. And if you like a particular video, that's okay. It will bring that same content. If it's good content, yes, it will attract the same content. If it's wrong content, it will attract the same. It's designed to keep you scrolling. The idea with Facebook, Instagram, and the great channels, right? You know the things they do. They reach people. Churches are using them for the gospel. I mean, your channels are reaching people. TikTok is great, but they've all been designed to keep you hooked. It's actually it's in the design. It's actually an algorithmic design in there. It's been designed to. That's why for men, you jump on a thing on the website on your laptop and you find cars from Japan appearing. You've been scrolling, right? For girls, you see handbags appearing, right? you walk into a mall and there are offers from that mall. You're wondering,
how did they know?
How do they know I'm here? Location, GPS, it knows you're in there. It knows you bought bags, you like bags. It pulls the stuff to you. Even tells you discounts everywhere. So these channels have been designed to keep you hooked. And I would dare say it's not just a parenting issue. Even parents are hooked. So even us who are watching right now, I can tell you, many of us are actually addicted. So addiction is not just a kid thing. It's parents. My wife has been on my case over screen time. I've got to know when to put the phone down and have a conversation. So I keep telling my son, I want you to be normal. It's a funny way to say it, but I keep saying, can we be normal? It's sort of a blunt way to say it, but I say, put the phones down. Can we have a normal conversation? I tell him, can you be a people person? People person means gadget down, no video games today, and talk. Because kids have forgotten about what it means to have a conversation.
One's coming because they're growing up in this.
In fact, bring a child now of a new generation, ask them to sit here in an interview like this. They may have difficulty having a conversation, having an impulsive discussion. Why? Because they must either refer to ChatGPT or refer to something because they've been device enabled for a long time. So I think that technology is great, but it needs to be regulated. You must watch where it is. Even you as a parent must be an example. And I have struggled because sometimes I'm on my phone, even for work reasons. But work must get to a point and you must put it down. I don't think the central bank will be on fire if I'm not on my phone all the time. I don't think the government is going to catch fire. I need to get a time where I put my phone down and listen to the kids, have dinner with them, be an example that we need to be people. So it's hard work. This one, the digital space is advancing quickly. It's exciting. And you want to be careful and find a balance. Don't inhibit your kids from embracing technology also. Because everything is going technology. The ability for your kid to use AI is going to be one of the greatest skills in the next few years. If kid can't use AI, they're going to be in trouble. They even lose jobs. Holding back technology and devices from them, you also could be holding back part of their fast-paced speed to their destiny or their career. So finding that balance, regulating screen time, speaking about the ethics of it,
telling them
talking
why.
about the dangers of it. We're open about pornography,
Yeah.
cyberbullying. We're open about, you know, these guys who tell you they like you, especially to the girls, right?
Yeah.
They're often not who they are.
Yeah.
It's identity theft, and then they begin to chat with you. They want to meet you at Garden City. There have been issues like that. Not in my family, but
Yeah.
there have been issues where young girls are chatted up.
They think it's a guy.
And then they are told sweet things, sweet nothings, and the girl really has been dying for some affection.
Yeah.
And then they meet in the parking lot, and there's been a rape.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard about that, but there's been a rape in Forest Mall, I think. No, one of the malls. I can't remember. But in the parking lot, you know, of a young girl who's been moved by social media, chatting, and these kids chat on they can chat with anything. Even Google Meets, you know, they will chat with every opportunity. So I think finding the balance and the regulation is extremely key. So it's a tough topic for me always, because this is my work.
Yeah.
This is what I do, but I also know the danger. So finding the balance for me is critical.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah, sure.
So thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like the video so that it reaches so many other men, moms out there, women out there. Send the video, you know, to Mr. But also watch it, because there's a lot to learn from what Collin has shared for us and also for our families as well. My name is Lisa Kusima. As always, I'm here to inspire.